welcome to a new vlog. I'm in the car. I'm actually escaping the children. It's half term and I'm feeling really naughty about it. Don't worry, I haven't left them unattended. But my friend Julianna, who, if you guys have been following me for a while, will know who I mean by Julianna, has got a sale at her house, I think with one other friend of hers, Faye, and Faye has loads of great things. And Julianna sent me a message and said, Charlie, Faye's got some things that we think that you all love, and her sale is this morning, so I am going. And I thought, do you know what, I can have a couple of hours out for me, so I've left Sigh in charge. And also something really exciting is that Arga is going back on today. Today is the day it's being serviced, which is why he's at home, and I thought I would seize the opportunity to go and see Julianna and take you with me. So I'm not going to prattle on any longer because I need to get there so I can get back, if that makes sense. I don't want to be too long. So let's go. I'm here at Julianna's. I'm loving this green in her kitchen. This is her kitchen. Faye is wrapping up a few bits. I'm going to turn you around and show you quickly. So this is Emma Stanton's beautiful, beautiful jewellery, and I will leave her linked down below. It's just stunning. I absolutely love these. And then Faye is wrapping up my bits. And this is Faye's clothes in here, which there were quite a few things that I could have easily been tempted with, but I will give you a try on of these bits at home later. But Faye, thank you for thinking of me, because you're spot on. You know my taste.
Oh, I'm so glad you're happy.
Very happy, thank you. And I'll leave Faye's details down below as well. Faye, have you got a shop now?
Or just Instagram. Popping up in different places around Sussex.
Amazing, amazing. So I'll leave Faye's details down below. And this is Julianna. So actually, let me step back because it's a really, really great space. And Julianna, I think, does by appointment here, but she's also got her shop in Hazelmere Circle. There are all sorts of goodies in here. Loving these black shoes down here. And actually, I've just spotted this, oh, I'm bumping into the door, this green jumper that Julianna's got, which I am going to try on because I think it's a gorgeous colour. Gussie is fishing out quinces from our neighbour's pond. Our neighbours have very, very kindly said that I can have the quinces from this amazing tree. So the boys have come to help me. But the pond is in a little bit of a tricky place because all the good ones, it's typical, isn't it? Sod's Law, are over the pond. So we've been having great fun with all sorts of things. And it's been sort of tin hats on as the quinces fall down. But look, so many quinces we are harvesting, which is very exciting. I am back, having seen Julianna and the girls there. Just really, really lovely to see them. I wasn't there for very long, and actually there were quite a few people, so it was a little bit difficult to share too much with you. And I have got a bit bedraggled too, but I'm going to share with you now what I got. My hair is doing crazy things today. Right, I'm going to talk to you about this first. When I was driving there, I was thinking to myself, what do you actually need? Do you need anything? What do you need? There was one thing that I probably do need. There's a couple of things that I need. There are how much you need things. But I said to myself, you know, have a really good think. You've got to love it. It's got to be uber comfortable. You've got to massively regret not buying it, you know, if you don't just buy things because you quite like them and they're okay. They've got to really, really work for you. So actually the first thing I bought is a camel coat, and I was actually, honestly, 100% of my life was looking on Reese's website this morning at their coats, because I noticed somebody had some beautiful boots that they were wearing that are from Reese, and actually I need a new pair of black knee-high boots, and I was struggling to find them. So I went onto Reese's website for that, and then I saw that somebody had a Reese's camel coat they were doing a coat haul on YouTube, and she mentioned that Reese was really good for coats. I thought, oh, while I'm here, I'll just have a quick look. And I was looking at camel coats this morning, and then I go to Julianna's sale, and the gorgeous Faye had this coat, and it's brand new. It's never been worn. It was £299, and I think it's just a gorgeous coat. And a camel coat, the great thing about camel is you can wear it with black, you can wear it with navy, you can wear it with chocolate brown, you can wear it in lots and lots of different ways, really versatile. So I will just show you this. Now, I don't think camel is particularly my colour. If you do it like that, you know, it doesn't really do anything for my complexion, but because it's such a useful coat, you can, I won't wear it like that necessarily. I would wear it with a black polo neck or a navy polo neck or something, but I just thought I would put this scarf on just to show you, you know, that now brings me more to life, whereas I think the camel next to my face just makes me look a little bit washed out. I don't like the dressing gown style of coats. Do you know what I mean? The more sort of like dressing gown robe. I like to have a belt. I like the way it fits me across the shoulders. I'm quite narrow, and I will step back so you can see it better in a second, but you can see it's just below the knee, which is perfect. And you can wear this over a dress, you can wear it with trainers as I am here and with jeans, but you can wear it, you know, out in the evening, you can wear it, you know, during the day. I like to have my collar up, you guys know, but just a really kind of versatile, cozy coat. But I didn't want a big coat that makes me feel like huge and bulky. I wanted something that was quite fitted and elegant, you know, that you can just wear over a dress, like even just to go to church on a Sunday. It's just a really, really easy piece. So I am thrilled with that purchase. I've saved myself a lot of money. Then I did buy this green jumper. I saw this as I was leaving. Julianna was holding it and I was like, oh, that colour is amazing. It's from Freight, which I believe it has a shop in Lewes in East Sussex. And I just love the coziness of this. It's just going to be one of those sort of cosy jumpers that I can throw on. Great for gardening, great for horses, you name it. It's just going to be really, really useful. And I just think that colour is brilliant. So there we are, a cozy knit. Yeah, and I love a bit of green. My hair is doing crazy things. I got quite wet earlier and it's sort of gone all yucky. Then next, I bought this cardigan. I just love the colour. I don't have very many red items. I have one other red jumper which I got from the House of Brewer a couple of years ago, which is a similar colour to this. But again, I just thought it was really easy. I wouldn't wear it with this. I'd probably wear it with a really, really lovely white blouse, would actually look a lot better. But you can just sort of see the shape, just really easy to throw on. Great actually at Christmas. I can dress it up, dress it down, and just a really, really lovely knitted cardigan. The Arga is back on, and I am one very, very, very happy lady. He was such a lovely chap. We chatted a lot about Argas. I think he was here for a lot longer than he needed to be. Because it's electric, it doesn't really need servicing, but he's coming to service another Arga that's actually in a rented property of ours not far away. And that's an oil one, and that does need to be serviced every year. So we thought, well, we booked him in for that. He could come and just look at ours and also talk about the aims. So ours has this, which you can control the temperature. So mine is now set from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. to be at peak time. Those are probably my main cooking times. I know you're probably wondering about breakfast. It used to come on at 7 till 9:30 at night. I liked that, so I'm now compromising. So we're trialing it. He has agreed that if I might need it for a little bit longer, I might need that earlier in the morning until Christmas, and then in the new year drop it down. So we're just trialing. Anyway, I have got some marks on here that I just want to clean off. It's back on, but before it gets hot I want to get it a little bit cleaner. And actually I'm going to use, and he said use the pink stuff. I've got this mark on here which is a bit of a pain. It's from in fact, let me bring you up and you can see what I'm doing. A wetsuit caused that, which is a nuisance, and I've just got some marks along here and it actually feels a little bit dirty. So I'm just going to clean that off quickly, and then I need to get in the garden. I've got some things I really want to plant, but I'm not sure I'm going to have time. We'll see. I'm going to crack on. Just realised it's incredibly gloomy in here. It's a miserable day. Anyhow, I've given that a little bit of a sparkle. I haven't got that mark off the top. I can get the lid replaced, but we've just worked out to replace both the chrome lids, because if you're going to do one, you need to do the other one. It's going to be about 500 quid, because the labour. And apparently it's a job I probably could do myself, but I don't really fancy it. Would take all of this apart to get this there, and I actually think that isn't a job for me. It's a job for an expert. But he did call his Arga cleaning friend to ask his advice on that lid. Was there anything I could use? And he recommended the pink stuff or sieve. And I said, can I use that side of the scouring pad on the chrome lids? I've always been a little bit cautious, and he said yes. So that is the Arga specialist, his advice that you can use these on top of your lids. So that is pretty handy to know. Anyhow, I am going to go outside and do this planting now because I cannot put it off any longer. So I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. It is a bit windy out here, it's a bit miserable, but this is the flower bed, there are the girls, that I've got a few things that I want to plant out now. And now is the time of year to do it. Autumn is the perfect time to plant things in your garden. So I've just put my plots out. Some of them have been knocked over already by the dogs. They are not much help. But I need to get cracking, so I'm just going to whiz and get these in before I need to go and do the school run, because Coco breaks up for half term today, so I'm trying to get ahead. So that was a euphorbia that I've just planted, and I've left its little tag in the ground next to it, so I know come spring when I'm weeding and doing things what it is, because sometimes when you've got new plants you can get a little bit confused. You can get a bit confused. So anyway, let's get cracking. I've done it. Everything is planted, which is really, really good. I bought the plants from Sarah Raven, and I just felt this border wasn't bringing me as much joy as I wanted it to. So I decided that I would get a few new plants and get them in now. So hopefully for next spring and summer, they are looking gorgeous. So I've got lots of white anemones, but I've actually got some pink anemones. And I've got some salvias, and I've got all sorts of things which I've just planted in there. A Florence has heard me talking, she's come running over now. Okay, she's decided that a bird is far more exciting. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me. There she is. Here she is. We are having a lovely, relaxing Sunday. I'm living in this new green jumper. It is just so cozy and perfect. This morning we had a lion, which was just bliss. And yesterday was a bit of a crazy day. Coco did her first hunter trial and Archie went surfing. His wetsuit is actually drying up there behind me. He just loves his surfing. He was not put off by the fact that it is rapidly heading towards November. He was in there and had a great time. The washing machine is beeping. The Arga is turned on, and I thought that I would make some Japonica and Clove jelly and share with you what I'm doing. So I showed you gathering cloves from our friend's house up the road. But dear Christine also said to me, Charlie, I've got some Japonicas. Would you like them? Stupid question. Of course, I would love them. These are Japonicas. So they're the same family as quince, but a little bit different. And this is all they had. She just uses some for decorating, and the rest she sweetly gave to me. She said she wasn't going to make anything with them, so I thought we would do that now. There is a bit of noise going on over there, and that is my new bread making machine. Now, I have wanted a bread maker for at least 4 years. I remember chatting to a girlfriend over 4 years ago about buying one, and I have ummed and ahed. Simon has been anti, I have been keen, and because we've got the B&B here, you know, I leave a loaf of bread for them, and how lovely to receive a loaf of homemade bread. But actually, I don't always have time to do it. It's a bit fiddly. I love making sourdough. I've got actually my sourdough starter sitting here. But the thing that sort of sealed the deal of me actually going for it and buying one was I googled, can you use sourdough starter in a bread machine? And the answer is yes. Now, I haven't tried it yet. That is my next thing. So I'm making a loaf of bread here. That is for tomorrow's B&Bs. And then overnight, I'm going to try making a sourdough loaf in the bread machine. It does use yeast as well, which seems a little bit to defeat the object, but we're going to try it. My sourdough, which I love making, but the family don't love it so much, which is really frustrating. And I make it actually in my Le Creuset. I make it in here, and it comes out round, and it's really difficult to slice. It's really hard. I have sliced my finger before trying to cut it up, and it's just a bit awkward. And I'm hoping in the bread machine, fingers crossed, it works. So I shall keep you posted on how that turns out. But for now, I'm going to do these and share that with you. Sigh's just walked in. He's actually on the phone. What?
Is that do you want to keep that stuff?
What stuff? Florence has got something. Hang on. Oh, Florence! My dried flowers. In fact, not even dried flowers. Faux flowers from the drawing room. Florence has brought in here and is chewing it. I do want to keep these, darling. I just need to get up in the attic and swap them round.
Give that to me then, I'll away.
Thank you. So I'm just chatting to everybody about my new bread machine.
Oh, yeah.
Come and give them your opinion. Come on.
Well,
Come on, because I've had a lot of people say that Sigh hasn't appeared. Come on. Come on.
I'm just rescuing the dried flowers. The bread machine, bread maker, it's a good addition to the family. I'm a big bread lover, unfortunately, but I love it. And actually, I was a bit sceptical.
A bit.
So I thought,
it's been 4 years.
What's wrong with Waitrose or actually Lidl or wherever? But so far,
so good. It's early days.
I want to try some rye bread with it.
You want to try some rye? So I'm going to make sourdough
Some
loaf
vague attempt to
tonight.
do something with the waistline.
I'm thinking that if I make it, you know, it's homemade. in there, it's going to be healthier than shop bought. It's my plan.
Does it have all the additives to give it the long life? Like, there used to be a loaf called Mother's Pride, which lasted about a year.
No, it doesn't.
It's disgusting,
So
but lasted
literally-
forever.
In fact, I have a loaf right here.
So it doesn't have all that stuff in it.
It's wrapped up in a tea towel. In fact, that's on my list, is to get some bread bags. So this is one of my loaves. So you can see that's where the I don't know what you call it. I can't think of that at the moment. What do you call it? The
What?
sort of the beater. Oh my goodness, my brain's not working.
Absolutely no idea
Whatever.
what you're talking
Anyway,
about at all.
that is one of my loaves, which is left over from last night's B&Bs. And so far so good. And actually it's jolly easy. So all that's in there is flour, a little bit of sugar, salt, water, and some butter. And that's it.
And that's it.
Oh, and
I
yeast.
bet-
Yeast.
I bet if you looked at the additives on your standard loaf of bread compared to that,
It would be
quite good.
It would make
Because
a difference.
actually, joking apart, when I go somewhere like France and I have a baguette, which basically is delicious in the morning and then it's stale by lunchtime, and that's why they bake twice. They bake very early morning, then they bake again around about lunchtime. And I don't feel all that blown up feeling that I do, and I'm sure that I can't remember what they put in, emulsifiers or whatever it is, so various different things in
All the preservatives.
in sort of supermarket bread, put it that way. You know, it doesn't make me feel good at all.
It doesn't
Anyway.
make you feel good.
No, it
So
doesn't make
we're
me feel good.
hoping that this is going to be a winner. Anyway,
But the problem for me is I like that with a lot of butter.
a lot of butter.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's not good.
treat with caution, handle
Yes.
with care.
Yes.
A bit like her, really, handle with care.
So, on to the japonica, and you can't see. Move that out of the way. Now, they are unbelievably hard fruits. So you need a sharp knife and a firm hand. And I'm just going to chop this roughly into chunks. Tea towel trick, because my chopping board is spinning around. I am using a plastic chopping board because they stain really badly. And so if I was to use a nice wooden board, they would stain. Now, I am not peeling, I am not coring, I am not doing any of that jazz. I'm sorry, the lighting is terrible. It's such a gloomy day that I'm putting all the pips in, I'm putting everything in. It's so gloomy out there. And I've got the lights on. Let's try. That might be a bit better. And actually, let's just move you up slightly. And I'm sorry about the background noise of the bread machine, but a loaf does take a while. So that basic loaf is it's 4 hours. So it is going to be more expensive, and the electricity that it uses, than just buying a loaf of bread. However, I think it is so nice to have homemade bread. So I will keep you posted. So I'm just going to roughly chop all these japonicas into chunks and just throw them in my pan. So today at church it was our harvest service, and it was a really lovely service, followed by a harvest lunch for the parish afterwards. And it was really lovely just to have time, because I normally just whiz in to church and whiz out, make pleasantries and go on my way. When the children were much younger, for a little while, I ran Sunday school with a friend, which was really lovely. But then life kind of gets quite hectic, and we've had rugby and football and riding and things like that on a Sunday. So it hasn't always, you know, if we can go, we go, and if it fits in. So we haven't been that regularly for a number of years because of everything in our busy lives. But it was really lovely. It was just beautiful service, followed by a lunch, and everybody helped. It was lovely, just lovely community, and I think that is so important, to have a community and to have that, and where everybody looks out for one another and is thoughtful and caring. The church, I've probably told you before, it's literally just across the river from us. I often ride that way and hack past, and the children were all christened there, and it's just a tiny church. Most of the congregation are a lot older than us, but I think it's important to support where we can. So it's been a lovely Sunday, and my gosh, having the Arga on is just such a treat. I've been I know last week I was talking about saving money, and this week actually I have been shopping, bought a bread maker, and now I'm about to admit that I've been doing endless loads of washing. Things that just take ages to dry. So the throws on the sofa I have just finished in the washing machine, so I'm going to hang those up, because it's really difficult to dry things when the weather isn't great. But with the Arga on, I can hang things up like the wetsuit and get those dry. So I left that to drip as much as it was going to drip, and then just put it up there to finish off. And I shall put those throws up later, but they all just needed a freshen up. I actually need to take all the cushions off the sofa and wash those, but I'm going to do that after half term. I don't need to give myself that extra job as well right now. Always remember to turn your knife upside down when you scrape off a chopping board, and that way you don't blunt your knives, which is a great tip. I learned that when I went to cookery school many moons ago. So I've just covered those with water. Don't put loads and loads of water in, just enough so they're all covered. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to bring this to the boil on the top. When it's boiling, I'm then going to put it into my simmering oven down there, and I'm going to leave it. I'm actually going to go out and do the horses, and when I get back in, it should be done. I want the fruit softened, and then I'm going to strain it, but I'll show you that a bit later on. But it's probably going to be quite dark by then. But just having the Arga for things like this is brilliant. It makes life so much easier. I just know I can just put it in there, and it doesn't matter if I leave it for 45 minutes to an hour or 2 hours. It will be absolutely fine, and that's the great thing. So I think things can they don't tend to ruin in the Arga. I mean, obviously, if you leave a jacket potato in the roasting oven for a lot longer than you had anticipated, it will be, horrible, revolting and burnt. But I find things in the simmering oven, if I'm making a bolognese, I can leave it in there for, an hour, or I can leave it in there for 3-4 hours, and it'll be absolutely fine. I have left things in there overnight when I've forgotten before, and they've been a little bit burnt, but actually you can get away with quite a lot, I find, in the Arga. Sorry about that background noise. I hope it's not annoying. I just thought I'd share this book with you. It's called The Teenage Brain, and I was listening to the Midpoint podcast, which is Gabby Logan's podcast. It's so interesting. I really enjoy listening to that. And she was talking about the fact that she had read this book when her children, I think, were a little bit older than mine. I think they're about 16. She's got twins. And she talked about this book, and I thought, actually, I'm going to order it because I think it would be very, very helpful. Archie's now 14. I probably should have read it a couple of years ago. I will keep you posted on what I think, but I'm going to take this upstairs, put it beside my bed, and it's going to be my bedtime reading. It arrived yesterday. So that is to go up there to remind me, but I thought I'd talk to you. Now, it's very windy it's got really dark and I think I'm going to get very wet doing the horses, but I shall put a raincoat on, put my wellies, I think it might even be waterproof trousers weather as well, and go and do those. My brain is a little bit like a sieve at the moment. I'm making Japonica and clove jelly, and I forgot to put the cloves in, so literally a good handful of cloves, like that. That's just come to the boil, so I'm now going to put it into simmer, and then we're going to do the horses. And actually it's so wet, it's so miserable, we've decided that we're going to bring them in and pop them in their stables tonight because it's hideous out there. So Cokes has got her waterproofs on. I'm going to put mine on and go and rescue these ponies from the stormy, horrid weather. I've put all the lights on. It was so stormy. We rushed up and got the ponies in, and then it brightened up. But actually it's raining again now, and I think it's going to be pretty wild tonight. So it's actually been a good few hours since I last chatted to you, and it's getting a bit late. I'm beginning to feel a bit weary, but the children and Simon have just been playing Monopoly, and it was too raucous to chat to you while that was going on. They love Monopoly, and so I just caught up with various bits and pieces and enjoyed listening to them have a happy time. I didn't join them because actually I made macaroni and cheese. I made two, one that we ate and this one for the freezer. Simon's mother used to put tomatoes on the top, and that is how he likes it. So I'm just waiting for that to completely cool before I cover it in cling film, label it and put it in the freezer. But my Japonica and clove, I can't believe I forgot to put the cloves in, I'm such a wally, has done its thing. And now it's time to get my jam strainers set up. So these I have had for years, and you can get replacement bags. These look a little bit revolting and a little bit tired, but they are clean. You can put them through the washing machine, or you can wash them by hand. But quince and japonica and, you know, blackberries and things like that, they do stain them, so I'm not too precious about them. So I just set it up over. You've got to make sure you've got the feet pointing in the right direction to grip on to a bowl, like so. I don't know if you can see. If you wonder what that strange noise is by my feet, it is Florence eating an ice cube. She loves an ice cube. In fact, I think Penny's got one too. So that is what they're doing. And also the bread is now finished, so I can show you that. So the bread machine I went with is a Panasonic one that has I can tell you which one it is. I have got the model SDYR2550, and it has got the seed dispenser and the yeast dispenser in the top. And I'll show you that another time. I'm not going to get into making bread, otherwise I'm just sharing way too much stuff with you today in you know, this week's episode. So we will do bread making another time once I have got to grips with it a little bit more. But for now, so I've literally just added water, brought this to the boil, and then let it simmer. I haven't mashed it. I'm just sort of stirring it through. The smell is amazing. Now I have set up 2 jelly bags, straining bags, because I don't like to overladen. And then you just leave these overnight to do their thing, and then tomorrow I will make our jelly. And I think our neighbour was quite keen for me to make this because she gave me some japonicas a few years ago, and I made exactly this, japonica and clove jelly, and gave her some jars. And she said, "Oh, Charlie, that was so delicious. If I give you some japonicas, would you make some more?" Yes, Christine, of course I will. So this is really for her, but I obviously haven't shared this with you guys. So my quince, how to make quince jelly recipe is on YouTube and on my website. So I thought, although I've got so many quince outside, I would share this with you because it's a little bit different. And if you happen to have japonicas or know somebody that has any, or you want to grow your own, then this is a great recipe for that. She's still at that bit of ice. And it's also an incredibly easy recipe. As you saw, I just roughly chopped, and tomorrow we're just going to add the sugar and boil it. That is Bonnie drinking. Yes, Bonnie. She drinks almost the entire bowl of water in one go. She's the funniest after all. She's always done it. Anyhow, I got those throws washed and they are drying there. In fact, another hour and they will be dry. But let me show you this. She's still going. Let me show you this loaf of bread. Bonnie, you really are having a big drink. So look, here it is. You go and wrap now. She's still drinking. It's quite ridiculous. I think she's been going for about a minute. So this is still a little bit on the warm side. She's still drinking. Bonnie, she's quite slow at drinking. She doesn't get, she just likes to take her time. Anyway, it's normally slightly easier to get out than this. I think it's because it's a little bit warm still and I'm being impatient, but actually I want to get that sourdough loaf on the go for us for breakfast. And that is the loaf of bread from the bread maker, and I think it's excellent. We are all super happy with it. You heard Simon's critique. Anyhow, I'm going to let that cool, wash that out, although it doesn't really need washing out. It's pretty clean. That's, I've remembered what it's called. That is the blade that goes in the bottom. That obviously does its mixing and kneading and what have you. I've got quite a lot of jelly, liquid being strained. It's not jelly yet. I need to make that into jelly. Liquid coming through, which is excellent. It means I'll get a few jars. I probably, out of this little lot, might get 4 jars. So it's quite, you don't get masses for it. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, but that's just, I might get 6 jars that size. Anyway, we will find out tomorrow. I'm going to leave that to cool and get on with the sourdough loaf now. My japonica and clove pulp has been straining overnight, and this is the liquid that I'm left with. So for every ½ litre of liquid, you use half a kilo of sugar, and that's how you work it out. I have got a big pan here, and it is quite a ridiculous amount of sugar that you need to use. So I'm just going to pour that in there, like so, and that bit of sugar, and then an entire bag. So it's I'm using 1 kilo and then 220 grams, if that makes sense. So I had so I'm doing it a little bit backwards. I'm working in, you can work in either pounds and pints, or you can work in kilos. And actually I had just over 2 pints, so that is what I've worked out. Maths isn't my forte. So you want the sugar to dissolve slowly. You don't want it to dissolve rapidly because it will burn. And I'm just going to stir it. And once the sugar is completely dissolved, that's when you can increase the heat. So while that's dissolving, I'm going to get my jam jars ready because I want to sterilise these. And to sterilise them, I'm going to put them into a baking tray, into the agar. I always sterilise more jars than I need because it's better to have too many than too little. I think I'm going to go for the smaller size ones because I don't want to make huge jars of it. You don't need, like with apple and blackberry jam, a huge jar is great, but actually this is quite a delicacy, so I'm just going to go for little jars. I'm hoping that's enough. I might put one big one in. And then once that's boiling, I shall put these into the baking oven of my agar. The roasting oven is too hot, but the baking oven is perfect for sterilising. I don't put the lids in. Those have been through the dishwasher, so I know that they are good to go. So I'll just put these to one side and give that a stir. While that sugar is dissolving, let's talk bread for a moment. So this is my sourdough loaf that I made last night, and it was delicious. I had a slice for breakfast, and then that is the difference. So that's the regular loaf, and this one in this hand is the sourdough. This obviously is sort of lighter and softer and fluffier. This is it's a little bit thicker. I was hoping to have more sort of, like sourdough, you tend to have more air bubbles, but actually it was really, really delicious. So I'm very pleased with that. My experiment worked. I have just put 2 small plates into the freezer for my set tests. This sugar has completely dissolved, so it's now time to increase the heat. Once it's boiling, I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and do my first set test after 10 minutes. And it's time to put these into the baking oven to sterilise. This is boiling quite ferociously. I'm going to do my first set test. I don't think it's quite ready, but we will see. I'm going to put this back in the freezer for about 30 seconds and then show you how to know whether it's ready or not. So it's had about 30 seconds in the freezer. Actually, it's almost there. I think a couple more minutes and it will be done. I'm going to leave that plate there. Don't stir it too often. You want to stir it occasionally to make sure that the bottom isn't burning. But the more you stir it, the more scum you'll have on your jelly or jam. So it's a fine balance between making sure it's not burning and over stirring. So don't stand here stirring it, but do, you know, from time to time, just give it a quick stir. So I think that this is done now, but I will just do a second set test and pop this back in the freezer for a mo. So second set test, and it is, I don't know, can you see? It's wrinkling, and when it wrinkles, you know it is done. It is really delicious. So I'm going to take this off the heat now. There's actually very, very little scum on there, but Gus is playing with a friend next door and the washing machine is whirring. I have just taken my jam jars out. This is quite difficult to do this one-handed, but you just use a slotted spoon. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, just to take off that top layer of scum like that. But we'll just get as much of this scum off as we possibly can. Now you don't want to get distracted at this stage. You don't want to answer the door. You don't want to answer the phone. You just want to focus and concentrate because you need to work quite swiftly. So I have got my jam funnel, which I find an essential bit of kit, and my jam ladle. And I am just going to fill my jars and fill them up to the top. Because we are using hot jars, you don't need to bother with the wax seal. So you don't need to go to that faff, which is something I have learnt years of making things like this. Oh, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to have the Arga back on. She has been very, very busy. And then when all of your jars are full, work quite quickly to put the lids on. Be careful, don't burn yourself because the jars will be extremely hot. And tighten those lids up. And then when you go to open the lid, you should have that wonderful pop sound. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this week's video. There's been a little bit of all sorts, but wonderful to be back with my Arga, preserving things. I think it's my most favourite thing to do. It's just wonderful when you harvest things, and obviously I haven't grown these, my neighbour has, but when you harvest them and then make them into something wonderful that you can enjoy, is really, really delicious. This is great with cheese. It's great in gravies. It can be enjoyed in lots and lots of different ways. So thank you very, very much for watching. I am wishing you a really happy weekend. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do leave me a comment and ring the bell to be notified of my weekly videos. Diary of a Church Mouse by John Betjeman. Here among the long discarded cassocks, damp stools and half-split open hassocks, here where the vicar never looks, I nibble through old service books. Lean and alone I spend my days behind this English church base. I share my dark forgotten room with 2 oil lamps and half a broom. The cleaner never bothers me, so here I eat my frugal tea. My bread is sawdust mixed with straw. My jam is polish for the floor. Christmas and Easter may be feasts, for congregation and for priests. And so may Whitsun, all the same. They do not fill my meagre frame. Me, the only feast at all is autumn's harvest festival, when I can satisfy my want with ears of corn around the font. I climb the eagle brazen head to borrow through a loaf of bread. I scramble up the pulpit stair and gnaw the marrows hanging there. It is enjoyable to taste. These items they go to waste. But how annoying when one finds that the other mice with pagan minds come into church my food to share, who have no proper business there. 2 field mice who have no desire to be baptized invade the choir. A large, most unfriendly rat comes in to see what we are at. He says he thinks there is no God, and yet he comes, it's rather odd. This year he stole a sheaf of wheat. It screened our special preacher's seat. The prosperous mice from the fields away come in to hear the organ play, and under cover of its notes ate through the altar's sheaf of oats. A low church mouse who thinks that I am too episcopal and high, yet somehow doesn't think it wrong to munch through harvest evensong, while I who starve the whole year through must share my food with rodents who, except this time of year, not once inside the church appear. Within the human world I know, such goings-on could not be so, for human beings only do what their religion tells them to. They read the Bible every day, and always night and morning pray. And just like me, the good church mouse worships each week in God's own house. But all the same, it's strange to me how very full the church can be, with people I don't see at all, except at Harvest Festival.